Welcome to Chiaroscuro Tarot, the art of living life. This is going to be a tarot quickie on whether the connection you are feeling with someone, is it love or is it limerence slash lust. We're going to kind of see what is going on there. Does love exist there, or is this lust? Since it can be difficult sometimes to tell the difference when you initially meet somebody and you initially have that connection, whether or not there's love there or if it's just that raw sexual attraction. We've got 3 decks to choose from, deck 1, deck 2, and deck 3. There will be a still frame picture in the timestamps in the description box below so that you can pause the video there and take a minute to go where your intuition is drawn if you need more time. If you're a returning viewer, welcome back. Thanks for watching. And if you've if you're new, welcome. A couple of things. The energies can be vice versa, so keep that in mind. I might be saying you're this way and the other person's this way, so those energies can be flip-flopped. I am going to kind of be looking at the masculine energy and the feminine energy, so to kind of help me talk about the 2 different people. So you may be in the feminine energy, you may be in the masculine energy. It's not gender specific. So you could be a woman in the masculine energy. Just go go with whatever energy or storyline works for you. But I will be talking about the masculine and the feminine. This is a timeless reading, so if I recorded it a year ago, could still be applicable to you. And also keep in mind that this reading is a general reading, so some things may not resonate. So take what does resonate, whatever resonates is going to be the message for you, and leave the rest. Also, please make sure to like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. It helps me as a reader build this channel and know I'm doing a good job. I appreciate all of your comments and all of your support. And I'm going to move on to deck 1. If you picked deck number 1, this is going to be the tarot quickie for you on whether or not your connection is lust or love. Or maybe something else. We will see what binds the 2 of you together. I did pre-shuffle this before the reading, so I'm not going to shuffle too much, because I don't want to spend too much time on camera shuffling. But let's see what we got going on. Alright, so for the feminine, we have the 9 of Pentacles, the 9 of Swords, and the 7 of Swords. For the masculine, we have the 2 of Wands reversed, the Queen of Wands reversed, and Temperance. And for the combining energy, the joining energy, we have the Chariot, 4 of Wands, and the 8 of Swords. So for the feminine, I see her... She may be... I'm getting the feeling that she may be having love feelings for this masculine, but I think she's kind of running from it. I think she's very used to being on her own, being independent, doing her own thing, taking care of herself. And I'm not sure that she actually expected anyone to come in her life at this point in time. Or maybe she was focused on developing herself, getting herself right, developing her own sense of stability. Maybe she's very career focused, and she wasn't really expecting a relationship to come in. And so I think she's kind of, it's creating some anxiety for her, and she's kind of trying to sneak away from it. Sneak away at least from the anxiety that's being created. But, you know, the 7 of Swords is looking at that 9. We have 2 very kind of anxious, stressed cards here. And I think she wants to, in a way, kind of hold all the swords here, because then it gives her a sense of stability in this relationship. So I'm not seeing anything that says that love isn't there. I'm just seeing her being very stressed out. Let's get a clarifier. Having this connection come into her life, if that's kind of threatening her own stability, it makes me by default believe that she is having some kind of feelings for this person, and that is destabilizing. She didn't expect it to happen. And I'm not sure she really knows the best way to handle it, or maybe she hasn't been handling it in the best way. So she's thinking it isn't going to go anywhere. And she just kind of wants to be left on her own. We have the Hangman reversed, the Three of Wands reversed, and the Four of Swords. Like, she thinks it isn't going to go anywhere. Or she's come to the conclusion that there is no future path here, or she's very focused on that this connection it's almost like she's afraid of repeating what has happened in the past, and she just kind of wants to do her thing and be by herself. She may be actually in the process of healing from a relationship that didn't go well still. But there's definitely some stress and a focus even on that this can't go anywhere. Like I anything I do isn't making it go forward. I just want to do my thing and hang out by myself. I need to calm myself down. I need to recover from all of these anxieties that I am having. I'm seeing a lot of anxiety on the feminine end. We do have Rebirth reversed for her oracle card. In a way, I feel like she's kind of resisting. She's clearly got doing her own thing down. And it's like she's hanging on to that independence. She isn't willing to jump into something new. She may be somewhat concerned about how other people may view this relationship. There may be some differences between the masculine and the feminine. She may be concerned how other people would view her being in a relationship with this person. Maybe she's listening to other people's words about the masculine and making judgments based off of that instead of actually talking to the masculine to see, where he is. She could be also. It's like either the next step of like her rebirth and her evolution is getting into a relationship and she's resisting it, or this relationship is distracting her from her own evolution. So take that, how that resonates with you, if you are the feminine, because I feel two different narratives going on there. For the masculine, interesting though, both sides, there seemed to be kind of a link here beyond just lust, is what I'm seeing. I don't know if I would necessarily call it love, but it's almost like there is a kind of a bond here between the two. This can represent connections to your ancestors, when this is upright. Working with your ancestors, a very kind of spiritual card, connecting to those that have passed and letting them guide you in a way. She may be resisting, maybe there is a past connection between the two here that she is resisting, that she doesn't want to admit, she doesn't want to face. The masculine is totally willing to work with this feminine. He is also frustrated though. He feels like it isn't going forward because she is perhaps manipulative, quick to anger, quick to protection, It's almost like she wants to, there's an element of her wanting to kind of chain him down in order to gain her own stability. This is how he's feeling. But it doesn't need to be that way. Like the way that she is behaving is in a way that he doesn't see it being able to move forward. However, he wants to make it work with her with this Temperance card. He wants to figure it out. He wants, the synthesis in Temperance, you have a little bit of like alchemy going on. And in alchemy, you're combining ingredients that otherwise really couldn't be combined. So he's willing to work with her, willing to combine the two lives and create something new from their differences. And he's willing to be patient. But he is frustrated because the way in which she is currently behaving, he doesn't see it being able to go forward, even though he does want to work on it. I don't know that she may be resisting working with him, and that's where his frustration comes in, because he's like, this can totally be, we can fix this, we can do this. His oracle card is manifestation. I think he's feeling a strong love connection here. Even though there's a part of him that has doubts, that thinks that it can't go forward, he is feeling a very strong connection to the feminine. I think he has manifested her in some way, that she may be the ideal woman. He may need to stay a little bit more in the present moment. I think part of his fear is kind of like, we have the monarch butterflies wings here, and monarch butterflies don't live that long. They're beautiful, but they don't live for very long. And so both have representations of like life and death. We have rebirth and we have transformation. Perhaps both people are going through transformations right now, but I think he feels like she's going to run, or she's going to leave, or the ways in which she's behaving aren't exactly inspiring confidence in him, that she views him like he views her. And he's trying to appreciate the moment as best as he can, because I think on some level he thinks unless they can actually have a talk about things, I think he thinks she's going to bolt. But I feel a little bit like the feminine is almost the ideal that the masculine has been looking for. And yet she's resisting him, and that's frustrating to him. The combined energy here, we actually have, for both people, there is definitely a way forward to actually a kind of union. Again, another card about that connection, a soulmate connection. That it's like the 1111. Maybe you've been seeing 1111. But there can be forward momentum and the establishment of a solid foundation on love, on passion, on the correct things. But both people have to get out of their own anxieties. The masculine thinks that the feminine's going to bolt and leave him, that she won't stay. He may also think that he's not good enough with this card. That he can't possibly be good enough to meet this woman that or feminine that he's been manifesting, this wonderful person. He may think he's not good enough. And so maybe he's kind of skirting. Maybe he comes in and out. Maybe he's in a little bit and then he sneaks away, and then he comes in and then he goes away, and he's not really consistent in his behavior, and that could be what's stressing the feminine out. She's like, I was good before you were here. What are you doing? But both people are trapped by their own anxieties and fears. This is the key. You can have love. You can have very healthy love. But both people right now are trapped by their own their own karmic ties, their own issues, their own baggage, their own anxieties, their own fears. And they can't see the way forward, even though it is clearly there. There is a way. It's almost like both parties just have to choose the other one. They have to buckle down, choose the other one, have a talk, work it out, face some stuff, calm down, and work it out. The feminine's going to have to get, if she wants this relationship, she's going to have to let go of a little bit of her independence. This can still be a very independent relationship. I mean, whatever she's been doing has been what the masculine's looking for. So if she's very independent, I don't think he wants to necessarily stifle that. Unless there may be a little bit of tendencies to do so on his part because he fears she's going to leave. I think clearer communication between both parties and a willingness to move forward with each other is what will actually rectify whatever disharmony is going on right now. All right. Good. Advice for the feminine and the masculine. All right. Masculine, time for a nap. He needs he needs some rest. I think mostly this has to do with overthinking. Perhaps meditation could be good for you, for the masculine. The masculine needs to calm down and kind of chill out, take a nap, take a rest, take care of himself. It's almost like this connection has been so overwhelming him that he's exhausted himself in trying to figure out how to make it work. But he's doing it all in his head. He's trying to figure out how to make it work without talking to the feminine. So take a rest. For the masculine, take a rest, calm yourself, center yourself, relax, find some peace. This is very peaceful, you know? Maybe wrap yourself up in like a blanket, like that little fox is sleeping in the arms of the moon, just being, you know, gently supported. Do something supportive for yourself to get yourself feeling back to you. I think also try not to engage in the thoughts that the feminine's going to leave. Just kind of calm. For the feminine, we have Between Worlds. And I feel like this is also very much about transformation. We have two transformation cards. I'm really getting the feeling it's between, like, she's moving between her own and being her own single independent person and moving into having a relationship, a new phase of that. So I think she needs to kind of accept that there's a transition happening, that she's mastered. She has mastered being on her own, and now it's time to translate that into how to be with somebody else. And to give herself the patience to allow the rebirth to happen, because the rebirth comes once she gets to experience the brightness and the vibrancy and the excitement of what being in a relationship with another person can be. The benefit, she's been alone so long maybe, or so used to doing it by herself, that she either doesn't know or has forgotten about the benefits of actually being able to co-create with another person. So I feel like she's kind of in this transition, and she's moving out of this phase of being uber independent, even moving out of this phase of focusing on the negative here. You know, we have the bright and the dark over here, because I see her anxieties and I see her trying to get control of it, but it's not really being successful at it. And she may just need more time to make that transition, to get out of her fears, so that then she's ready to show up in the right way for this masculine, because she's showing up out of alignment and he is responding to that. He still wants to work on it, but I don't know that he feels he can even talk to her about this, because as soon as he does, her fears kick in and then she just pushes him away. I'm seeing a big connection between the two of you, though. So it's just a matter of removing the fears and removing the thoughts and the anxieties that are blocking both of your vision. I don't think either person is really seeing the other one clearly quite yet. And once you do, I think that there is love and there is a connection and there is a way forward here. Well, that concludes the reading for pile number 1. I hope you liked it. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. It helps support me as a reader and support the channel. I'm also taking requests. If there's a question you would like me to do a reading on, let me know in the comments below. And I'm going to move on to pile number 2. If you chose deck number 2, this is going to be the reading for you on is it love or is it limerence? I have pre-shuffled the deck a little bit because I don't want to spend 15 minutes shuffling on camera. I'm going to give it a couple of shuffles, and I'm going to pull the cards. So for the feminine, we have the Six of Wands reversed. I'm sorry, the Six of Wands, the World reversed, and the Queen of Cups. For the masculine, we have the Queen of Pentacles, the Knight of Swords, and the Ten of Cups. For the connecting energy, we have the Ten of Pentacles reversed, the King of Pentacles, and the Page of Wands. For the oracle cards, we have for the feminine, Bloom. And for the masculine, we have Wisdom. So I am seeing indications of love here. But I'm kind of getting the feeling that it may be over, even though there is love between the two. I want to clarify this one card here. Yeah. So we have the Ten of Cups over here for the masculine and the Queen of Cups over here for the feminine. So I think that there is love here, and that there, you know, the masculine at some point was certainly focused on building something. Like he thought that his dreams could be achieved with this feminine, and he went toward her quite forcefully. You know, he made his intentions known. He wanted to make it happen with her. He viewed her as somebody who could even be the mother of his children. Maybe the feminine is the mother of his children. Somebody that is steady and compassionate and kind. A good nurturing thing there. Maybe she has a nice career set up. Like, it was kind of like she was the real deal, and he wanted to run in, and he wanted to bring love into her life that maybe wasn't there. For the feminine, I'm seeing her feeling some love, but it may be a little bit, she may have been a little bit guarded with it. I think she may have seen this masculine and felt like something was off. You know, like, yes, I do care about this person, but something's just not quite right with this. Maybe even an intuitive knowing. I mean, we do have two very spiritual cards here, so she may have just intuitively somehow known that something wasn't right. At least, it wasn't that the masculine was a bad person. It just, maybe the time wasn't right, or, you know, something just felt off. And so I think in order for her to stay on top of the situation, she kind of put her heart in the cup to protect herself a little bit. I see her being a little bit more focused, turning her focus more inward toward herself instead of on the masculine. She may have rejected him at some point. I mean, she is showing up very queenly. Over here, the masculine is showing up as a knight. So I think he may have come in initially in an immature way. Because the knight is, the queen is a higher level above the knight. So perhaps the way that he handled things maybe wasn't at the maturity level that the feminine was looking for. And maybe that's why things just weren't right. Like, yeah, I do care about you, and I do feel drawn to you, and I do feel deeply for you. There's a element of a big spiritual connection here. But I see it, even though there's feelings for each other, I still kind of see it going in a different direction. I do see love here. But I think, at least for the time being, it isn't a connection that can go anywhere. I think we've got there are two queens showing up, so maybe the masculine chose another feminine, a different person. He chose a different person instead of this feminine, and maybe that's what the hang-up is, because I'm seeing there's a lack of commitment here. And I think what this is that there's kind of two things going on. I think I'm seeing the feminine over here kind of go into herself in order to heal herself and not heal, to better herself. She's more focused on her own evolution, and I'm seeing the masculine kind of doing the same, but they're doing it in very different ways. And so for the time being, I think that with these clarifier cards, we have the Knight of Cups reversed, the Knight of Wands reversed, and the Seven of Wands. I think for the time being that there's some disappointment between the two energies, and I don't think that there's going to be any forward motion because there's too much defensiveness. And in a way, both parties are kind of taking a journey forward on their own to really connect to themselves. Again, a wand, a very spiritual card, to develop their own sense of a higher level of spirituality, where they're kind of moving from the material to a more spiritual perspective on things. For some of you, it may resonate that the idea of, I don't have to have you to love you, and the idea of unconditional love. I love you regardless of whether or not you are mine. Is kind of coming into play here. I feel that maybe a little bit more on the feminine side than the masculine, because the masculine seems to be defensive and upset about something here. And I think things didn't go the way that he wanted them to, and he is reacting, again, it's just night. He's reacting immaturely and a little bit defensively, because he viewed this feminine as the end-all be-all for him, and didn't go the way that he thought it would. I see him engaging with her, but I'm not seeing a lot of her engaging with him. So I feel like she's more doing her own thing. Part of it, I think, is to protect her heart, because she may view him as a little bit reckless, and she may be trying to keep her heart safe from that sword he's swinging around. He may have gone for another woman, because we do have two queens here, so he may have chosen somebody else. And that's what makes her now hesitate. Now she's kind of got to deal with the fact that it didn't go anywhere. That probably hurt a little bit for her. And she's looking to create new opportunities for herself. He's looking to create new opportunities for himself. I think neither person is really... I see love, but it's like neither person's really focused on each other right now, and I don't know that either one should be. There's something that y'all have to learn. There's something that you have to do before you can be together. So there's love, but is it going to turn into a relationship? Not anytime soon, unfortunately. I think the masculine's pride is hurt a little bit. The feminine's heart is hurt a little bit. And as a result, both people are kind of turning into themselves to deal with their own stuff. For the feminine, we have Bloom. This is a really beautiful spiritual card. Meditation. The feminine may be into meditation, enlightenment, high spiritual level, crown chakra, connecting, vibes, that kind of thing. I think this also has to do with sowing seeds and allowing them to grow. So perhaps the feminine on some level understands that this connection isn't going to go anywhere now, but it's time I can sow seeds and maybe it goes somewhere later. Either that or it grows a new relationship that's right for me. There may be an element of authentic expression that the feminine needs to work on. I'm not sure with that heart in that chalice that I just keep seeing. I'm not sure that she's really opened up her heart to this masculine. Maybe it wasn't time for her to do it yet, but there is an element of having to be the freedom that comes from authentically expressing yourself. Instead of seeking the other person to validate her, for the masculine to validate her, she is learning to validate herself. And once she learns to validate herself, she will be able to open up her heart to him and express how she feels in a way that it doesn't rock her to do it. It's like both people have to restabilize. They have to figure out a way to generate stability for themselves. And maybe both people recognize that this is kind of a little bit of a long-term thing. This is going to take a while. It's going to take a while for it to be able to go somewhere. For the masculine, we have wisdom. This is an important... One of my favorite things about this card is that this card represents the idea that knowledge is not wisdom. It is a very important distinction for the masculine, to understand that what he thinks he knows is not wisdom. Wisdom comes from inside. It's a far more intuitive thing. We do have a three-eyed raven here third eye, the connection to the unseen, to the spiritual realms. Perhaps he has to develop his spirituality too. She's developing her spirituality in terms of being able to authentically express herself, to connect more to the vibe and stay grounded. He's learning to develop his spirituality in terms of listening to his internal guidance system as his form of wisdom, instead of what he thinks is fact or what is logically happening. Because in his mind, it's, maybe logically he's not really seeing the situation clearly. I don't know that either people are, but I feel like the feminine's got a little bit better grasp on what's going on than the masculine does. And the key for him, literally key, to unlocking the feminine is to grow up a little bit. That's what that is telling me. To develop his own sense of spirituality, his own sense of wisdom, to reconnect to the parts of himself that he may even be denying. We do have this logic of the air here. And he may be so like headstrong in his own logic that he's actually cutting out the wisdom within him. And I think she's looking for something that is more than just logic based, if that makes sense. By the masculine connecting to his own internal guidance system, his own wisdom. Wisdom comes from within. By aligning with himself, then he is able to know what to do moving forward and how to behave in, I don't know how to say it, but just like in a higher level, in a more mature manner than he has been, because he's choosing to learn and to grow up and to learn to listen to himself. I hate using the word grow up, but I am seeing a little bit of a maturity difference here. There may be an age difference. And I don't really see the queen, not the queen, the feminine being too hard on the masculine about this, other than she's just kind of locking her heart away. It's not like she's not going after him about anything, but she's just keeping her heart safe. Okay. Okay, you're gonna act like a fool. You don't get this. You'll never get this. You'll never get this. Not exactly that. I don't think it's never, but at least not right now. Maybe later, but not right now. So I do see love. I actually see both people really, really feeling deeply for each other, but neither one being quite yet in the position to actually engage in a connection at this level. We do have indications of a high spiritual connection here. So there could be very intense and very deep, and neither person seems totally ready to healthily engage in it. So some more time is needed, some more exploration, a higher spiritual understanding is needed. Time needs to be taken in order for both people to understand themselves on a higher level and learn to operate on a higher level. And then I suspect, let's see what happens. What happens if they do the work? I'm seeing hard resistance to doing the work. So I'm guessing that this is something that's going to take a while. This is flat out resistance to transformation. This is resistance to change. And this is divine timing, so this cannot be rushed. There isn't anything that you can do to make this go faster, to make it work. The change has to happen in order for it to work. If the change doesn't happen, and it's only going to happen in divine timing, which we do have the King of Pentacles, long-term investment, long, slow, and steady, like so slow. He's like the slowest card of the deck. Like all of these vines, his robe and the vines growing beneath him almost look the same. Like he sat in that same spot for so long that the vines may be overgrowing him. So it's not exactly a hardcore, fast-moving card. And I think that this energy is kind of the stubbornness of both of you. Maybe perhaps both of you are blaming the other one for where the dysfunction is happening and you're not owning your own stuff. As soon as you start owning your own stuff, the transformation can happen. Y'all can get ready to be together, and then you can move forward together. But for the immediate future, I see the two of you kind of going your own ways and doing your own thing. So that you can develop yourselves to grow and evolve and to be ready to be in the position to have a relationship at this level. I hope this helps. This concludes the reading. If you like the reading, please like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. I'm also taking requests for suggestions for pick a card reading, so if there's a question you would like me to do, please post it in the comments, and I'm happy to do a video on that. And I'm going to move on to deck number 3. If you chose deck number 3, this is going to be the reading for you on Is It Love or Limerence? I have pre-shuffled the decks before this reading just because I don't want to take too long shuffling in the video, but I'm going to give it a couple of shuffles, and we will pull some cards and see what's going on. Okay, so for the feminine, we have, excuse me, the King of Swords reversed, the Moon, and the Two of Swords, along with the Bounty card, Oracle card. For the masculine, we have Temperance, Ace of Cups, Page of Coins, and Heart for the Oracle card. And the connecting energy is Death reversed, Six of Wands reversed, and Five of Coins. You know, I see love here. I definitely see love on the side of the masculine. I see fear on the side of the feminine more than anything. I think she's kind of shut down. Whatever has happened between the two of them, because I'm seeing rejection, hurt, rejection, feeling out in the cold. Again, lack of validation, lack of being seen, lack of recognition, nothing, no forward motion, nothing happening, no growth, no transformation, no development. Those are the connecting energies. So they're sad. They're not really forward moving right now. Interestingly, the masculine wants to forward move. The masculine, I think, in this particular case, has come to recognize the ways that he actually sabotaged this connection. We do have Heart here, and this is a lot about, you can see, like, she cut off her head. This is reminiscent of, like, the Queen of Hearts and Alice in Wonderland, you know, off with their head. And it's reminiscent of kind of recognizing that when you avoid dealing with your own traumas, you end up hurting people. And then by default hurting yourself. So this masculine is kind of starting to recognize that he may have hurt the feminine, and as a result has hurt himself, because now I'm not really seeing any forward motion in this connection. There may be some separation, and he is recognizing that the ways in which he contributed to this. The ways that he acted out his own trauma on her and hurt her. And so now he's kind of trying to heal that aspect of himself. He wants another shot. We've got the Ace of Cups and the Page of Cups. He definitely wants another shot at love with this feminine. I don't know if it ever entirely got off the ground, because we do have this ace here. It's kind of like there's potential. There's great potential. And he wants to take advantage of it, and he's willing to learn, and he's willing to do what he needs to do. He doesn't necessarily know, so that he may make mistakes along the way, but he's willing to learn, and he's willing to work with her, and he thinks that there's great love potential here. Again, willing to work. It's almost like, I think he views the feminine as his divine counterpart in a way with Temperance, but it's also like it's been divinely guided. He kind of feels like she came into his life to show him how he was doing this stuff. Her presence has inspired a higher level of understanding in him, a higher level of understanding of his own behavior and how he responds to those that he loves, instead of responding to them in a traumatic way and hurting them because he's living through his trauma. He's now learning that he can balance that out, and that he can actually have the love that he wanted, and that he can actually exist in a manner that doesn't involve him hurting other people, because there's things he hasn't processed. He's now internalizing that a little bit more, and really dealing with the pain in his own heart by himself instead of giving it to somebody else. That's really deep. He is really, really going through something. He wants another shot. The current connecting energies, I am not necessarily seeing yet that he is communicating with the feminine. You guys may not be in communication. You may be in separation. You may be mad at each other. I'm still seeing some feelings of rejection on his end. He's realizing any rejection he may have felt was because he was behaving poorly, because he was responding, he was acting out, he was taking his trauma out on somebody else. And now he's got to take some time to heal his heart so that he can actually get what he wants. This may actually, I have to admit, this seems more like a trauma bond instead of love or limerence. This seems more like a bond in trauma. How people can bond having had similar traumas in their life, or maybe they lived through trauma together and became bound through that. I am feeling a little bit that this relationship, at least in its current state or in its past state, was probably more of a trauma bond than actually love or limerence. That doesn't mean it can't change. I mean, the masculine is certainly focused on changing. He's certainly focused on, I want something healthy. I want something balanced. I'm willing to do the work. I know I need to self-improve. I know I need to self-reflect. I know I need to address the issues that I have within me. But I'm not actually seeing it being communicated to the feminine. So that doesn't mean he won't ever, but at least for the near future, he's going to be keeping that to himself and doing that work on his own. The feminine, on the other hand, is angry. She has shut down and is very cold toward the masculine. Very, very cold. Very, very harsh words have been spoken. I don't think she really wants any forward motion here with this Two of Swords reversed. And we have the Moon. She's terrified. She's afraid. You know, perhaps the masculine was this way. Maybe he was harsh with his words. Maybe he was cold. Maybe he wasn't handling things appropriately. And she's afraid that that's going to happen again, so she doesn't really want to engage with him. She is not very interested in re-engaging in this connection at all. And I see him wanting to try again. It's not currently communicated. He may not think she'd even be open to hearing from him, so there may be no communication unless she actually were to reach out. For her oracle card, the feminines, we have Bounty. So this is kind of about abundance and the values or the associations you put on it. Because the way you feel about abundance is the way that it's going to come to you in your life. There may be kind of like a feeling like she wants the masculine to give her something, like she is owed something for what he put her through. And instead of, abundance being given, bounty being given for giving, she kind of wants it for justice. And so it's probably whatever she would want from him may not necessarily be satisfying, because it isn't actually going to be a true form of abundance. Instead of just appreciating what comes your way, or focusing on an abundance of love, and then you behave in a loving way so that you can generate more loving abundance, she's kind of just shut down, totally afraid of the way that this masculine could potentially hurt her. Or maybe he has hurt her, maybe he hasn't, and she's just afraid of it. But there's like a sense of control in this for her. Like, I want you to tell me you are sorry. I want you to, you have to do it in this way that I want you to, or it isn't going to matter, instead of receiving what somebody is capable of giving and being appreciative of whatever they're capable of giving. I'm not quite sure how to describe this. I think that there were some good words in the book. Are we seeking bounty as a payment reward for our hard work and completing tasks? And does it feel like this comes easily to us, or is there a block? Or is bounty something that is continuously and abundantly provided by the universe? Is our mentality more focused on the gratitude for these gifts, or keeping tabs on what is owed to us? What we have earned, or what we feel we deserve? That's what it is. What we feel we deserve. That's the word I'm looking for. You deserve something from them for what you've been through, or in order for you to even just feel less fearful. The feminine, though, has to adjust. This is where she's got to adjust her perspective, because the way you get the abundance and the way that you get what you want in life is by being that way. That's part of this, what this card is, if you want love, be loving. If you want money, I don't know, I haven't figured that one out yet, but you know what I mean. I do have a jar of money that I keep in my kitchen, where I just throw like bills in there, and for a while somebody was giving me crap because there was like a bunch of $20 bills in there, and I was like, it's my money jar, it's because I'm manifesting money. They're like, don't you want to spend this? I was like, no, I want to look at it because I'm going to manifest money. So maybe that's a money manifesting one. But I'm getting the feeling of deserve here. Entitlement. I'm entitled to something from this masculine, instead of having earned it. So there's a perspective there that needs to shift, that needs to soften on the feminine side. It's interesting, the feminine is actually acting in a much more harsh masculine energy, and the masculine is actually in a more softer feminine energy, believe it or not. So I do see some love on the masculine side. I see fear on the feminine. I don't know if I see love on the feminine, because I'm just seeing very cold, harsh energies, and nothing is coming up about love here for the feminine. And as a result, I don't really see that this relationship is going anywhere. It's like she needs to be validated. The feminine wants to be validated for what she's went through. And she isn't validating herself. She isn't taking that time to transform. She's still expecting the other person to do the work for her, instead of earning it herself, because she feels she deserves it because of what she went through. When in reality, what she went through was to notify her that there were issues within herself that she needs to rectify, and that it isn't actually the other person's responsibility. She's missing the message, where the masculine's got the message. And he's working on himself. Let's see. Let's get a little bit of advice. For the feminine, you need to focus on your own healing. Don't worry about somebody else's healing. Focus on your own. There are issues, repetitive things that you also do, that may have gotten pushed under the table because of what the masculine did, or what you fear the masculine will do, but you aren't recognizing your own also toxic tendencies that you may need to heal, the trauma that you haven't allowed to heal yourself, because the masculine's moving out of that trauma energy and the feminine is staying. She is staying in her trauma and in her fears. And as a result, she's going to be, if she doesn't work on healing and she doesn't work on dealing with this stuff, she's going to become what the masculine was to her, and she's going to do that to other people until she realizes that she's hurting people because she's ignoring dealing with her own trauma. So she doesn't want to be like that. Like, come on. You don't want to be hurting a bunch of people. So it's time to heal yourself, because you're hurting yourself most of all. The masculine, we have Treasure Island. I think the masculine's uncovering himself. By facing his own traumas, he's actually coming to face with his own strengths in a way. He's really transforming. I want to get a couple of keywords from this one. Bringing dreams into fruition. Positive thinking made manifest, abundance appearing as if from nowhere, financial gains, and sharing of good fortune. So he is coming into something. He's doing his own hard work. He's manifesting. He's bringing more abundance in his life. I suspect he ultimately wants to share it with this feminine. She wants nothing to do with him except for getting what is due to her. What she thinks she deserves. She's not coming from love. She's coming from fear. She could have all of this abundance and everything that this masculine is creating, but she is so afraid of repeating whatever has happened, or so afraid that he's going to hurt her, that she is cutting herself off from it. And as a result, you have a connection that isn't growing, it isn't changing, it isn't going anywhere. Is invalidating. Nobody sees each other. Nobody's communicating. Nobody's validating the other one. And a feeling of rejection and isolation and being out in the cold. I'm not really seeing that these people are in communication a whole lot. And if you are, it seems almost empty. But there's huge transformation and huge shift. Should I say no? Sorry, my dog's looking at me. I'm almost done. No. A huge transformation and huge shift that's happening, especially for the masculine. I see love for him, but I don't think, at least at this point, that the feminine is open to it. I think she's very lost in her own trauma, while the masculine's been healing his. So she's got to catch up. She's got to catch up, start healing her own trauma, and this could eventually be something that works, but it won't work until both people heal their own trauma. So I would say it's not lust, it's not necessarily love, it's a trauma bond that needs to be healed, because without it being healed, love cannot exist. All right, thank you for watching. I hope the reading resonated. Please like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. I'm also taking requests for additional questions for the readings. So if there's something you would like me to read on, please let me know in the comments below. And I'm happy to oblige. And thank you for watching. I will see you guys next time.